Welcome back to Relative Conscious. My name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Shout out to DJ for making our beat.
At DW Made That on social media.
Follow us on social media.
That's at Kinda Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, subscribe, follow, and let us know in the comments. What's up with the GOP? Do they know what they're doing? Is it like Kanye West where they're kind of losing the grip on reality?
Yeah. What comes next for them, basically, is the question. The GOP is at a crossroads. Their GOAT, Trump, may be washed up. He was just indicted by the feds. Not to mention he was already been indicted in New York, and he's facing another possible indictment in Georgia for election fraud. Additionally, he's getting up there in age, although Biden is also ancient. That's not even considered the fact that most of the candidates he backed in 2018 in the midterm election lost.
You're right.
The GOP won the House in landslide, but they barely managed to secure it due to very poorly chosen candidates, most of them handpicked by Trump. And so we have to ask ourselves, can he still capture the magic he had in 2016, or is he washed up? So therefore, the Republican Party is at a crossroad. Do they stick with Trump or do they move on? So I want to know, do you think Trump is washed up? Is a GOP even at this crossroad?
Yeah, I think he's done. I think like the shenanigans we got to critical mass of shenanigans in 2020, and people voted for Joe Biden. Now, I don't think that Joe is looking like a lot better than Trump in the public eye, which is crazy to say out loud. I think obviously a much better president, but people don't like Joe. But people don't like Trump just as much, if not more. And like you said, his picks are unsuccessful. He's currently facing indictment right now. Looking at the content of the investigation, all the dialogues, what do they call that? Transcripts. There you go.
Yeah.
Of conversations that he's had around these classified documents. I mean, it's just like COVID all over again. Like a scandal that's too big to ignore, too harmful to ignore type situation. So he's done, and they need a new star. I don't know where he's at, the new star, but Ron DeSantis wants it.
Yeah, I mean, first thing for the indictments, real quick, he did it. There's no,
it's no question.
There's no gray area. There's no question. The federal indictment, he did it. And when the GOP candidates talk about him getting indicted, they often say they should have indicted a sitting president. They never say he didn't do it. They just say they should indict a sitting president, which means that's a bad argument, basically. Like Monica Lewinsky, like Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, he did it, basically. The question is, when do you think it's bad enough to get indicted for? And I think holding on to classified documents, like secret documents, like only for the top 5 people in the entire government type of document, and it's showing them to random aides and being like, look at this. This is secret. Isn't it so cool? I could have unclassified it, but I didn't. But I still have it. Isn't that interesting? Like,
that's a quote. That's a quote, by the way.
Yeah. So like that type of stuff, like that to me is much worse than getting what's the word I look for? Getting service in the Oval Office closet.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, other presidents have had scandals or whatever. Bill did it.
Yeah.
But Trump, is on top of everything. And unlike collusion, because collusion was like iffy at best. And then when the report came, it wasn't conclusive, blah, blah, blah. Even though you could see all the data, he was basically like OJ at that point.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we know he did it, but did he do it? Okay, he gets away. This time it's DOJ. He's going down. It's federal.
Yeah, I mean, OJ got away with it, but then he went to go rob a man to get his memorabilia back. And he went to jail, like for real. Yeah. So like, you can only get by the justice system like once or twice. Then they're gonna get you, basically,
Exactly.
Every mob boss goes down at some point. They're not Teflon forever. Every mob boss.
I'm about to say Teflon Don. I mean, Teflon doesn't mean nothing goes. I don't know if you ever used a non-stick pan before, but you can make some stuff stick.
Yeah, I think it's bad. Some people see this as like Jordan in '94, basically, where he walked away for a little bit. He's gonna come back. He's gonna be back on top. But I don't think so. I think this is Jordan in 2001. He's washed.
Yeah.
The knees aren't the
Washington.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably can put up a 50-point game. He had a town hall with CNN where he was, back to being the old Trump. And so every now and then he can look right, but it's just not the same,
It's like Jordan on the Wizards. He can still move sneakers.
Yeah.
His name is still his name. But any other athlete that signs to Jordan Brand, buddy, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. So let's get to the next part. In this position, institutions often first gravitate towards a cheap imitation to try to satisfy what previously worked.
Yeah.
But often fails and falls flat, or it's just not as satisfying. So like the NBA, when Jordan retired the second time, in '98.
Yeah.
The NBA tried to give us Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Grady, and Kobe Bryant as the next Michael Jordan. Even like Mike Bibby and Steve Francis were called the next Michael Jordan. And it didn't work. Kobe came the closest, and it took him a while to live up to the hype, but it still just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same level of winning. It wasn't the same, level of play. You could pretty much watch Vince Carter any given night and be like, I can squint my eyes and see it, but it's not totally there.
Kobe's got great sneakers, but people don't die over.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah. And like in the rap world, I'm pretty used to NBA rap. But in rap world, after the death of Big and Pac, they try to give us Ja Rule, Mace, DMX, Jay-Z, Nas, post Illmatic, 50 Cent in the game as all next in their lineage. But again, Jay-Z and DMX came the closest. And it's not exactly the same. DMX is
they're not.
DMX is like Pac, but he's from New York and he had like a 2-3 year reign where he was the top. Jay-Z is like Big, but very much different, I really, we can see how the imitations can maybe work, but a lot of the ones like Ja Rule and Mace it wasn't happening. And often the savior who comes on to save these institutions are something completely different. It's like for rap, it was Eminem coming onto the scene. After the death of Big and Pac, it was a white boy from Detroit who like changed the game of rap, or Lil Wayne being from the South, or LeBron and Tim Duncan for the NBA, completely different from Michael Jordan. And I wonder, what is that for the GOP? What is something completely different? Because Ron DeSantis is the cheap imitation.
Yes,
but what is the completely different thing?
I think they gotta lose again. I don't. Of course, I'm not in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
But I have no clue who that person is, and I don't think they've arisen yet to show themselves, and I don't know if there's an appetite for it. So before Wayne, really popped off on a national level outside of the South, the game had to piddle around with the game, and we had to deal with Mace and Ja Rule, and we just had to act like that was sufficient for the time. And I think this just unfortunately what we got to deal with now. Hopefully, Joe Biden, he's the candidate, so that's the only thing that makes me sweat. But if we can pull that off, then maybe the Republican Party can actually reflect and stabilize and come back in decent order. But I don't know if that's possible.
I think about like the Democratic Party after Clinton, after Gore lost, right? And it wasn't until they found something completely different in Obama. What's funny is that even though Obama was different, he was still in the vein of a JFK, a Bill Clinton, a kind of cool guy president.
True.
But he was also completely different because he was black. And that is just such a different thing that, it worked. And so I really do think that it took a while for us to find him, So he first came on the stage in 2004. That's 4 years after Al Gore lost. Where he comes on the stage and gives that speech at a Democratic National Conference. And then in 2008, he finally becomes president, So that's 8 years, basically, wandering in the wilderness, looking for manna from heaven.
Wandering in the wilderness.
Yeah. So I don't know, the GOP is looking at 8 years of wandering in the wilderness, but it may be looking for their next savior. Let's go through some of the candidates because I put them into categories, space.
Okay.
First is Ron DeSantis. So Ron DeSantis' best case is that he's Kobe, he's DMX, he's Jay-Z, right? The argument is that Ron DeSantis can be Trump's successor, like Kobe to Jordan. He's Trump without the antics. He's a culture warrior. He has proven that he can govern a state that was once purple, but is now completely solidly red. He's strong on pro-choice, where Trump is squishy at best. And his claim to fame was keeping his state open during COVID, and making the liberals cry, making the libs cry. By shutting down trans healthcare, passing certain bills, fighting with Disney. So he could be Trump's successor because he's Trump without the antics.
All of this is true, and I think you forgot something. Yeah, you forgot he's your brother in arms.
That is true. He was also in the Navy. He was a Navy officer.
I mean, he was a Navy lawyer, but he is in the Navy.
So let me give you the argument that he's not Trump's successor, right? Let me give you the argument that he's more Vince Carter, the game, Ja Rule, Mace, right?
Okay.
That Trump's shoes are just too big to fill, right? Like Mace being next to Diddy, it kind of worked. We had more money, more problems. Vince Carter had a 2000 slam dunk contest. You can have moments. And Ron DeSantis' moment was keeping Florida open during COVID, but it's come and gone, and you can't have MAGA without the antics because the antics makes the public overlook MAGA's horrible political philosophy, and so we witnessed this before. We witnessed this before in 2018. A lot of people try to do I'm MAGA, but I'm not Trump, type deal, and they lost in landslide, and the GOP should have taken the House by like 20 seats, but had to eke out 5. Picking Ron DeSantis for the GOP, it's just not going to work. It sounds cool, it looks cool, but you really look at it, you're gonna be like, it's just not the same.
Okay, so what antics are we missing here? Are we talking about the crime?
I think that he doesn't have Trump's ability to be funny. He's not funny.
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
Oh, okay.
He's not charming.
No, you're right. Be honest. Trump is hilarious.
Yeah.
No, get those lights off. Off. Turn them off. They're too.
Yeah, he's not funny. Trump is somewhat charming. He has a cult of personality. He really can command a room. When Trump's just riffing, it works. Actually, the worst Trump is Trump on script, and the best Trump is when Trump is just riffing and just going off. Turn the lights off, they're too bright, turn them off. That Trump worked. And Ron DeSantis, it's like MAGA, but like you strip all that away. And it just feels like, why are you so angry? We like tell those kids to like take their mask off. And he was
honestly, it's not doing anything, and we got to stop with this COVID theater.
was like mad about it.
Yeah.
When Trump would have made a joke, he was like, they're back here with these masks on. I don't know why they're doing that. I'm good. I'm healthy. My doctor said I'm the most healthiest man he's ever seen. I can outplay Tim Tebow right now in the game of football.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like it's just a way about it that like work, and Ron DeSantis doesn't have that, and so it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know, like even like Kobe at his best when he was younger, he just wasn't cool enough. Does that make sense? He was
exactly. There's no X factor. Like, I mean, he's 100% the basketball player that Jordan, not 100%, 99% the basketball player that Jordan was.
Yeah.
But without the signature swag, without the shoe designs, it's not. It just ain't the same. And literally we've seen it before.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not as good. And I just got through watching that. It was funny the first time, but it's not hitting me.
Yeah, it's like like Mace when he rapped in like the late 90s. When Mace was supposed to be Diddy's next guy, right? He had the flow. He was from New York. He had the style, the clothing. But he wasn't Big. It wasn't big, and you kind of could tell.
No.
You was like I see it, but it's not the same. Even 50 Cent. Sexy flexy shirt off, rapping about killing people. It's cool, but that's not Pac. That's not the same. He's missing the woke part. What's the woke part?
Or
50 Cent?
Every other white rapper who wanted to be Eminem, it's like, oh no, you don't got it, buddy. Like y'all all love to say shocking stuff. Y'all all bleach your hair blonde, but sorry, dog. I know you're white trash. I know it. I know you were struggling. I know you're from the gutter, but you're not him. You're not Marshall.
What's funny is the person to pick up Marshall's mantle and be the best thing since Marshall and do the same thing was Tyler the Creator, a gay rapper,
an African.
Yeah, a gay African rapper from LA.
Yep.
It was completely different, So let's go next. Got Tim Scott and Nikki Haley, right? Tim Scott is a black Republican from South Carolina, the only black senator, the only black Republican senator. And Nikki Haley, who was the governor of South Carolina. She is Indo-American. There we go. Yes.
Nice.
And she's a woman. So,
so that's the problem. I think Nikki Haley would really be the ringer if she wasn't a woman. That's so sad, but it's too real. It's a fact. It's undeniable.
Yeah, two arguments is that maybe they're Eminem, maybe they're Lil Wayne, maybe they're LeBron. The other argument is that maybe they're Yao Ming and Ludacris. So let me get the two arguments. One, the Eminem LeBron argument that it's time for a new face for the GOP. It's time for them to embark in a new direction. The institutions in this situation normally survive by going a completely different direction, like we said. And these candidates are the ones to lead the GOP in the direction. Both Scott and Haley are people of color. Haley's a woman. The GOP has constantly struggled by being attacked by being racist and misogynist. Them being the face of the GOP would help them fight those claims. Their politics are firmly rooted in conservative Republican politics. So there's no worry about them being rhinos. And they're a fresh face. No one has any history with these two people. No one has any issue with them. So that's the argument for Eminem and Lil Wayne. But the Yao Ming and Ludacris argument is that the GOP is just not ready. They want Scott, they want Haley, they say they do, but deep down inside, they want a straight white man to lead them to the next presidential election. Yeah. So Scott and Haley may have inspiring stories, like Yao Ming coming from China. Ludacris was, he was different, he was funny, but people just didn't give him the recognition he deserved because he was too funny, and therefore
too pop friendly. He was too good, honestly.
Yeah. So their names are floated. People will float Scott and Haley's names as next in line. People said it maybe Yao Ming and Ludacris, but really they didn't mean it. They knew what they wanted, and they wanted the same thing to happen, and that's what the two arguments lie. And I believe they're more so Yao Ming than they are Eminem. They're a good story, and it's a good time for right now, as we know we're in the beginning of the bid for 2024. But as we get down to grind time, the GOP is going to go back to what it loves, and it loves straight white men.
Yeah. Yao Ming had to go home. He had to go back to China. They was hating on him too hard.
Yeah.
And, it's really crazy. It's beyond their control. And they keep having to work behind the scenes within the party or within their state. And they're just relegated by the nature of the beast.
Yeah. The next person is Mike Pence.
Good Lord.
He's either P. Diddy in the late 90s, the former running mate to the GOAT, who finds his own voice, or he's Scottie Pippen in the late 90s, early 2000s, the former running mate to the GOAT, who just kind of still around,
That's
I
Diddy. I think they're the same guy.
But P. Diddy was on a platinum album. Pippen never won a championship again.
Okay.
So I think he wants to be Diddy, but I think he's Scottie Pippen.
Absolutely. Future then smashed this woman and made a song about it.
Yeah. Which means, which translation, Trump sent a mob to say, go hang Mike Pence. Now he's trying to act like it didn't happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Scottie Pippen, Mike Pence is trying to talk bad about his GOAT, and it just makes it look worse. The thing about Diddy is that he never talked bad about Big.
Facts. I mean, how could he possibly? That would be suicide, which is what he's committed.
Yeah, which is why Scottie Pippen is looked bad upon, and why Mike Pence, he's trying not to talk bad about Trump, but he's going to have to at some point, and it's just not going to work. Also, I don't. It's almost as if his bid for the election is to say, what if we forgot about those Trump years and went back to just being conservative, evangelical politics? None of MAGA, free trade, all that type of stuff. And I don't think he realizes the GOP is beyond past that. We can't go back to the hip hop, the hippity, the hip hop that don't stop, the bang bang boogie. Yeah. Rakim has come and started rap, and we don't know what to do anymore.
No, it's T-Pain and Kanye West with that auto-tune machine. It's a wrap.
Yeah,
you're done.
Yeah, we can't go back anymore. We've passed the point, and so it's just I don't know why he threw his hat into the ring. I don't know why he's trying. So
he's a candidate. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, he's
Mike Pence is a candidate.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is straight suicide. He really Scottie Pippen himself. I'm the real greatest of all time. That's hilarious, bro.
The last person is Chris Christie. He's a self-proclaimed kamikaze candidacy. His goal is only to make Trump look bad and talk bad about Trump. I guess I don't know what to do with that.
I love it. He's an agent of chaos. That's what the Republican Party needs.
but he's not that guy though. Like last time I saw him on TV, he was on ABC the night of 2018 midterm election, and it was like he's a pundit. He's not a presidential candidate. He's a pundit. That's not a guy who's actually has any chance in Iowa.
He's Master P. Like he's not really a rapper. He's not really a basketball player. He's a label head. He's a businessman, but he loves to get on the court and he loves to get on the mic and act a fool just to be a distraction. And that's entertaining, bro. For a man outside of the U.S., that's great.
Yeah. So anyway, let's finish off here. What do you think happens next? If you had to project out, what do you think happens next in 2024?
Jeez. Oh man. I'm gonna say Joe Biden by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And that's a prayer, honestly. I know you don't believe in this, Tony, but I'm trying to speak it into existence.
So who do you think the GOP nominee is going to be?
Oh, wow. Yo, I guess Ron, honestly. He's Kobe. He's got to be.
Interesting. I think Ron is the worst choice for Biden. Yeah. I mean, maybe, and then again, Biden has the ability to turn on in debate and kind of just look a little spry, a little young enough to just do enough to people be like, I guess we'll give Grandpa another shot. I guess we won't take away his keys just yet. When Grandpa drives, and he drives just in the lanes enough, the signal comes on just enough to be like, I guess he can keep driving, but I don't feel good about this. I foresee a Tim Scott Donald Trump ticket
so wait, Trump is the main event and Tim Scott is his
the VP, or Nikki Haley, probably one or two. I foresee that ticket, and I foresee it crashing and burning because Trump stays getting indicted, basically.
man gets the debate from jail.
Yeah, it's like at some point regular Americans aren't paying attention right now. But once they start paying attention, they're like, so he's been indicted 3 times. He's indicted in Georgia, of all places, for trying to steal the election.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah. He loses. He probably loses badly, actually. Well, the country is so polarized that it's actually impossible to have a bad loss unless like Biden won Texas. But he loses Georgia again, and like Michigan and Ohio and Wisconsin and Florida are like actually like all up for grab for Biden, North Carolina too. And we're like, what is going on? And so Trump looks bad basically. And then the GOP doesn't have a reckoning. They just put Ron DeSantis as next. I don't know. I think they're capable of self-reflection. That's something that takes.
I don't tell me this. I don't think Tim Scott or Nikki Haley would run with Trump at this point. I know that they're kind of sycophantic and they're chasing the spotlight. They're clout chasers, to put it simply.
Yeah.
But do they want it that bad? Are they that desperate? I don't think so. And I think Tim Scott's kind of a spineless punk. Nikki is compromised on some major issues. So it's possible. But I don't know if they're not built for it. And they know that. And they know that. That ship is sinking.
It's the vice presidency though. You get to be in the White House. It's a proximity to power that is the intoxicating aroma of the.
They want to be Dick Cheney.
Yeah. So they think they could be Dick Cheney, but you may be Kamala Harris,
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta do an episode about Kamala Harris. I don't know.
What is there to even say? She's a regular vice president that everybody hates because she's a woman and she's black.
Yeah, and also she's corny. That's the problem. I'm just gonna say
because she's a black woman. I don't know if y'all knew this, but black women, along with being the coolest, most attractive women on the planet, are the most corny. It's a blessing and a curse. You can't have everything. Like it's like monkey's paw. There's a drawback.
Yeah. I mean, she gives auntie vibe, and like
she is the auntie. That's it.
Yeah.
She is.
And like aunties are also kind of corny. You like,
absolutely.
Yeah, auntie is funny, but she's also, a little corny here and there, and so I think that's kind of the issue, and I think, her speeches, they work, but like nobody takes it seriously. There's misogynisticness, all over this,
Yeah.
But I do believe that like her being corny is like a serious issue, and like she's not like funny enough for it to actually work.
No.
Which like the thing about Obama was that he was just too cool, and of course he had to be cool to pull Micheal in the first place, but like that coolness is like once in a generation. You don't see that all the time.
Cool with competence. I mean, that is literally once in a generation. We had Kennedy, had to wait a while. And then Bill was kind of there, but he wasn't competent enough to keep it in his marriage.
Yeah.
And then Barack is the whole new generation.
Yeah. And so, maybe the next one who comes along is a woman who's cool and competent enough to do it, but I don't think it's not Kamala. She just doesn't have it the full package together, And
also, I'm not sure if she's a competent politician in the first place, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, she was an AG, and then she was a senator. Being attorney general for a state, there's actually work there you have to do. People who are criminal justice warriors have issue with her reign as AG. Yeah, I think that's more of a problem with the job in itself. That a lot of things can be looked at. There's a lot of hard decisions you have to make, basically. Yeah, and it's one of those jobs like any decision you make, it's gonna be people not gonna like it, basically. But I think being a senator is one of those jobs that like it's kind of pretty much all for show. It's really there for one term, and it's pretty much all for show. It's a lot of, especially in this Congress, not like Joe Biden back in the 80s and 90s when he was like legislating, passing bills. Senators now just kind of sit around, and they get on TV and talk, but that's about it.
Put on the kente cloth and take a knee.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Ted Cruz. He may throw his hat into the ring. I don't even know what Ted Cruz is. Besides the Zodiac Killer, I don't know what to call him. I don't know his parallel.
I feel like he's like one of them like corny Christian rappers.
Yeah,
like no one's taking him seriously.
Yeah, it's like he's like Limp Bizkit almost. Like I don't know who listens to you.
Kid Rock, you're technically rapping, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know who listens to you, but it's not me. It's not the homeboys on the block. We're not listening to you. Yeah. But anyway, my name's Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Peace.
Do it